you are welcome to horizontal, and the only way to correct it was to start a new live stream.
Hi, Chihuahua.
So anyway, hey, slowly everybody's going to find us. Thank you. Sorry about that. I watched your drum video. I don't know if your mom told you, but Patty and I are former band geeks. We were both in band.
Yes.
And so enjoyed your video. Looking forward if we wanted to. Saxophone originally. And then I think it was my junior year, I taught myself how to play trumpet because the marching band really needed trumpet players. And actually was better trumpet player, I think, than I was a saxophone player. So my senior year, I ended up trumpet players that were not happy with me and the first chair because neither of us we were both new trumpet players, but in the auditions, we actually apparently did better. So
I think so.
So
and if you want to know, since you're going
on. Oh, yeah, Patty.
Flute, and then when I got into high school, I went to piccolo, and I was first.
Having internet issues.
Maybe over here.
I don't like the looks of that, but how's everybody doing? I got it's going in and out. Hi, Brenda. Yeah, we're having internet issues, so I don't know. We'll see. I switched over to LTE because a little bit ago our LTE was testing early because I'm getting a spinning circle, which I don't think that's a good sign.
No.
So.
Oh. I know they were in the house.
Are you able to see us? Wanted to play, Donna wanted to play the trumpet in elementary school, but the orchestra leader talked me into the violin.
Ooh, I moved it because I was drinking it.
So how is the audio? Are you hearing us? Are you seeing us? Because we have a really annoying circle going on the screen, which makes me think.
Let's see here. It says
much better now.
Okay.
Better now. He needed a fresh
string section.
Stream is better now.
No,
audio is good. Okay.
Good.
All right. So this could just be something with us as long as it's going to drive us okay.
Yeah, it drives me crazy, but that's
and we'll start the official live stream here at 7:30. I wanted to get on and it spins and gets cut off. Okay.
Well, happy Valentine's.
I wish we weren't having this issue. This is why we probably shouldn't have pushed it. We had, 3 weeks in a row we had live streams with no issue here. And she says the sound is better.
I think because it's so cold out.
Maybe. Mm-hmm. I don't want to cut out because I'm afraid if I do. Hey, Steve Turtle, welcome. I tried to schedule it, Steve, so that you'd get a notification before we started. So I would just want to say this, and before we get officially started, for those of you who have not went over to Steve Turtle's channel, you should definitely go check out Steve, because what Steve does is so different than what the rest of us are doing, in my opinion, in the RV niche. He tells his stories literally as a story. He talks about it. He says, in today's story, it's just the way he presents it. It's good, clean family entertainment. And honestly, we normally, and I think most of you would do this, you'll watch a video one time, unless you're watching a video to learn how to do something where you have to watch it a couple times. Mm-hmm. But normally you just watch an RV channel one time and that's it. We actually went back and watched Steve's episode the other night for a second time because it is so funny. I mean, when you said, Steve, that you didn't buy those shoes at the Goodwill because they were too expensive and they were $7.50. I mean, I was literally laughing so hard. So definitely go check out Steve because, again, it's just the way he does it. He presents. It's not that other channels aren't good. It's just it's refreshing to see. I wished I was that creative to put a new spin on an old topic or an older, it's RVing. So
I like camping, workcamping.com or
Work Camper. Not really.
Yeah. I want teacher camp.
You want to be a teacher, not really?
Not really.com, yeah.
So, Donna asked how cold it was. I don't know what the current temperature is, but the low tonight is 6 degrees.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
So the plan was to leave this evening about 3:30, Hi, Diane. How are you doing? Audio good, but video buffering. I don't know. There's part of me that says maybe I should, but I don't want to lose out. I mean, I hate to leave. If I
Yes.
leave, you would all have to go find the new link.
Right.
And I don't know if that would make it any better or not.
But yeah, it's cold, but then the news guy said it wasn't as cold as last year. Last year at this time, the wind chill was -40. Because he said that's when we had that polar vortex that came
so
through.
it's not as bad as last
Yeah,
year.
he goes,
Anyway, we were going to leave tonight to go camping,
Mm-hmm.
and then we just decided 6 degrees. What's the point?
no one needs to be a hero here.
No. So our plan is in the morning to get up and pack the trailer,
Hi,
and then we're going to
Brenda.
go away. Okay, Scott says the video is good. Don't leave the stream. Okay, we won't, Scott. I won't touch it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's
what
a
we
plan.
decided
So
to
we're
do.
still going to get away in the camper, but tomorrow it is supposed to, what is it, supposed to get up into the 30s,
It's
I
going to
think.
feel like a heat wave.
Yeah,
so.
compared to what? So I didn't even try to load the trailer today or anything. Oh, Steve says come to California. It's nice there today. I'll bet, Steve. It's got to be better than here. So
Especially sunshine. Well, we did have some sun today.
Right.
That was deceiving. So the sun made you think it was warmer.
yeah.
Okay.
So yeah. So anyway, tonight what I thought we would do is we released a video, as some of you know, yesterday. Gosh, that was just yesterday.
Yes, it was.
Called Unplugged. It was our midweek update, the new format, where we answered questions. And this month, the way we did the questions was, oh, Steve, thank you so
thank
much.
you.
Steve Turtle, thank you for that.
Super chat.
Yeah, there you go. You do it so much better than Russ.
Aw, poor Russ.
And hey, Corey.
Hi.
Corey's here. I know Corey. Here's the thing. Sometimes a lot of you I know because I'm the one that does the bulk of the responding
You
to
do.
comments
You
in the
do.
Facebook group and that type of thing. So sometimes Patty's like, you know all these people and I don't know them. So do you get a week off of school or just extra days?
What do you mean a week off? For Valentine's?
Oh, no, Patty gets Monday off for President's Day.
That's the only day I get off.
Yeah, just one day.
Yeah, just one day. And that
Oof.
was actually a fluke this year because normally we have a bunch of snow days in January and that gets canceled for the day off on President's Day. But
Yeah.
we actually get it this year. So
And if we miss your comments, because the internet's so bad, Patty shut her laptop down,
Yep.
so we're literally trying to read these as they pop up, and they go by really quick. So kids here, kids
midwinter break.
Oh, you get
Yeah,
a
we
midwinter
don't.
break.
No. We have the long haul from January, beginning of January, all the way to spring break, which is the beginning of April. So and we get one day, which is President's Day off, if it's no snow. So, and we were lucky
That
there
one we-
wasn't snow, and so we get it on Monday. So
Oh,
beautiful in
Diane
Utah.
says, yeah,
Oh.
51. And Mary, thank you. She said the house looked beautiful
Oh,
here.
thank
Yeah,
you.
we're trying to show you the fire. We do have a fire going tonight.
right there.
Zeb Meets here. Oh, watching in the Tab 400 in the
Hi.
driveway. Yes, yeah, we'll talk about driveway surfing. Anyway, back to what I was saying. And you can kind of keep an eye on
Yep,
the
I'll
comments
try.
if you will. We took the questions this month from our Patreons because we wanted to do a thank you to them, and they submitted the questions. And one of the questions that Jim, one of our Patreons, posted was, how do you get over the intimidation of boondocking for the first time or dry camping for the first time? And primarily, he said it was on the electrical side that he had the most concerns. And so that kind of became the focus of that video. And then today I posted a blog, which I'm horrible at, as most of you know, over on our website. We're lucky if we get one up every 2 months. But I wrote a blog about it, and then it just seemed like we should do this live chat tonight to talk about it with everybody here. So that's going to be the focus tonight, is how you get over the intimidation if you've never boondocked or dry camped before. And so in the blog, what I posted was 4 reasons that we love dry camping or boondocking. And
Yeah.
let's not get into semantics. I know there's people out there who will say, if you pull into a Walmart or a Cracker Barrel, that's not boondocking. That boondocking is like out in the middle of nowhere on government land. And then what you're really doing is dry camping. Okay, whatever.
It's just
all
how
right?
the terminology,
yeah,
how
so
you view it.
I get
Yeah.
that, but I guess so then really what we're talking tonight is a combination dry camping, boondocking. But the 4 reasons we really like it is, number 1, it's a great way to save money because especially when we're traveling, I don't want to spend $40 or $50 to pull in and get some sleep and then get back on the road. So that's why we like things like Walmart and Cracker Barrel.
Definitely.
But we also can save money, and I'll give you a good example. Out in the Tetons, if you stay, for instance, at Coulter Bay in the Grand Teton National Park, no hookups is still like $30 a night. And right across the street on National Forestry land where we stayed last year with Russ and Carrie, it was free. So definitely a money savings. The kiddos are playing,
Yeah,
so the
they're
tripod.
roughhousing.
But if the video's really bad, you won't even notice it. Number two, we love the freedom with boondocking. You know, like for instance, when we're traveling, if I'm going to a campground, I don't like getting in too late because I don't want to wake people up, and plus trying to find your site and things like that. Where I can pull in at Walmart or Cracker Barrel at midnight if I want to, and it's not hard to find. It's easy. You're not going to wake up too many people. The other thing is we're anti-reservation people, because when you make a reservation, then you're committed to being there. And with boondocking, it allows us that freedom to wander. Number three is you get a lot more space typically.
Yes.
Because you know how campgrounds are. They pack you in like sardines.
Not a big fan.
No, not a big fan. And number four, the final one, is we think it's a better atmosphere.
I do, because some of the neat places in the national forests and national area around national parks that we can find that are boondocking, those are just beautiful.
Yeah. So those are the four
Yeah.
kind of reasons that we think it's so great. Now, we realize it's not for everybody.
No.
You know, and the same is true, you know, it's kind of like trailers, like MJ from Endless RVing was
Hi,
making,
Dad.
hi Dad, happy Valentine's Day, was her and I have been making fun of each other because they look at these big 40-foot plus motorhomes, and I'm always saying, hey, you need to do a video on something under 20 feet. But I can respect that everybody has different camping styles.
Right.
And so, and Dad's a good example.
Yeah.
He's not a boondocker,
No.
okay? He likes his full hookups
Yeah,
typically.
that's okay.
And that's okay. So anyway, so how do you get over the intimidation? So this was my advice in the blog post for Jim. I wrote it really for Jim.
Okay.
Okay, but hopefully it benefits others. If you've never done it, it is intimidating potentially. I remember the first time we put it off for a really long time.
Well,
you know, we
just some questions that we weren't so
Yeah.
sure about. You know?
I mean, we've been RVing for 15 years.
Yeah.
We didn't start boondocking till what, about 4 years ago?
Yeah.
So, so that first time. But this would be my advice: start local, okay? And
In your
it could be
driveway.
in your driveway. And Russ or Carrie, and I'm not sure which one, maybe both of them, says just do it.
Yeah.
And sometimes you do. You just have to sometimes
Just
go
go
for
for
it.
it, yeah.
But if you're really nervous, do it locally. Do it in your driveway for the night, or go to a local state park that doesn't have hookups. That way you're in you're away from home, but you're in what would be considered, hopefully a safe setting.
And Brenda's saying Walmart, Cracker Barrel, Harvest Host.
Yes.
Those are perfect.
Yeah. I mean, is there a Cracker Barrel nearby? Go arrive about 6:30, 7 o'clock, go in, have dinner,
There
come
you
out,
go.
call it
Perfect.
an evening. Next morning you have breakfast. But start local, and that'll give you your confidence once you do it one time.
Yeah.
The other thing is I would really recommend is
Bam.
go in moderate weather.
Yeah.
Okay? Don't go when it's going to be 95 degrees
Or
out.
6.
Yeah. Or 6 degrees out. Go on go maybe when the temperature's going to be mild. Because here's the thing, about the only thing that you can't do typically in your trailer off of your battery is going to be your AC, unless you're Russ, where you have 960 watts of solar with like 400 or 500 amp hours, then potentially you could run some AC off of your batteries.
Right.
But even us with 200 amp hours of lithium and 300 watts of solar, we're not hooked up to run our AC. So I don't think we would be boondocking if it was 95 degrees out and it wasn't going to cool down at night.
No, we don't do that.
Now, if you remember, when we were with Russ and Carrie in Idaho last summer, it got pretty warm during the day.
Right.
But then the temperatures dropped drastically out there. So in the evenings,
Right, it was
Oh, it was cool.
Nice.
Yeah.
It wasn't hot at all in the evening to sleep. But
Yeah,
it
'cause-
did get warm during the day.
Because if you go,
found
or if you,
shade.
like, if I would have taken Patty boondocking the first time where it was like 90 degrees out during the day and it was only dropping down to 80s at night,
Not so much.
then it would have ruined it for her. So definitely, I think the first time we boondocked was in Batavia, Illinois at a
How
Walmart.
do you remember the place? Good
We were on our
grief,
way to
man.
Vermont.
Okay.
I never forget Vermont.
You know. Okay.
But you remember that? And it was chilly out that night. I mean, it wasn't cold, but because it was in October.
Yeah,
and,
well, yeah, sure, it makes a difference.
And so that wasn't an issue. And here's the thing, even if it's cold out, your furnace most likely runs off of propane anyway. So you can stay warm.
Right.
All right?
Yeah.
Somebody said they used to live in Batavia.
Right, yeah.
I didn't catch it. Boondocking, like eating an elephant, needs to be done a bite at a time. That is good advice,
that's a good
Diane.
one.
You just take it a little at a time, and
You just get used to it.
Yeah.
You get in a habit and you get in a routine and security, or you get used to that. Because I remember that was kind of one of mine was like how safe we're going to be out in the middle of, I would envision
even at
nowhere.
Walmart, you were nervous the first
Right,
time.
right,
So,
yeah.
But do you remember though? After that night, the next morning, remember we both looked at each other and said, "This opens up a
Yeah,
whole
why didn't we
world.
do
Why
this
haven't we been
before?"
doing
Yeah.
this?"
This
And
is
now we
so-
absolutely love it.
Yeah.
So.
Definitely.
So the two big concerns that you'll have is going to be energy
Right.
and water or liquids.
Yep.
Right. And so on the energy side, if you really think about, even if you only have, let's say, a lead acid battery, a lot of times the dealerships put in those really cheap lead acid batteries. You know, one of the things you might want to consider if you plan on doing some boondocking, you don't need to go buy lithium like us. Don't be.
Well, we didn't have when we had the others.
Right, but what I was starting to say was you can, on our Jayco Hummingbird, I had upgraded that to 2 lead acid batteries. What were those? They were like 110
I think so.
110 amp hours a piece, so it gave us like 220 amp hours when I wired them up together. So, and I think I had about $300 in that total. Because most of these trailers today have LED lighting in them, so they're very energy efficient. Your converter, which charges your batteries and runs the 12-volt system, that's going to have some draw on it. But in general, you know, if you run your radio, if you run your TV, then that will draw some. But there are ways to conserve. Patty and I hung puck lights.
Yeah, we use puck lighting.
They're battery operated, and you know,
We use those.
we like those. We actually like
yeah.
the light they give off better.
They're
than,
not. Well, we
they're
don't.
not
I
as
don't like
harsh.
a lot of bright light in the
Right.
camper. So those work really well for us. And we have our little fan
Yeah.
if we need airflow.
That
you
USB fan
Mm-hmm.
is wonderful. It hardly uses anything, and it really moves the air good.
I agree with Nomadic Idea. He says go backpacking for a week and then boondocking is a piece of cake or however you
Yeah,
word it.
you know
Sorry.
what, Scott? I think that's why.
It's
I think
easier
that's
for
why
us.
boondocking doesn't bother us, because we have done backpacking.
Right.
That is a great. Scott and Ariane make a great point about that. If you, not that I'm suggesting everybody
No,
on here should go
but we're-
backpacking.
but-
Although, if you want to, Scott and Ariane will take you
Yeah,
out.
definitely.
They
But
they
we've
lead
done that
trips.
before.
So.
We know how to be minimalist, and we're okay with that. And
Yeah.
That's also why we have the smaller camper for minimalist kind of lifestyle. So
Right.
yeah.
But this is one of the reasons, because we know we like the boondock. That's
Uh-huh.
why I don't even want an electronic tongue jack, because that uses battery.
yeah,
So
true.
I was thinking, like, anything I don't need to use battery, then I
Right.
just don't. So then the other side that I think scares people, but I don't think it should, is your water. Now, depending on what your tank sizes are, will depend on how long you can go. And honestly, it is trial and error. I mean, it took us quite a while to figure out how many days we can go.
Right.
I can just tell you, on our Tab 400, 3 days max. And that is ultra conservative.
Yep.
I mean, that means we're washing dishes once a day. We're taking Navy showers to where you turn the water on, get wet, shut it off, lather up,
Right.
you know, and you just use as little of water as possible. And the problem is, it's not on the fresh side. We have a 30-gallon fresh tank. The problem is we have an 18-gallon gray tank. So
Oh, that's a cool idea.
what's that?
Says we bought a lot of motion censored lights that go off USB. Motion censored lights.
Okay.
That would be
That
a
could
neat
be good,
idea.
yeah.
They're just going by so
Yeah,
fast.
I know the comments on here, so it's not the ideal setup, but
No,
talk
okay.
amongst yourselves.
It's all right.
Do you always drink from fresh, or do you carry drinking water?
We always do bottled water or jug water, just because of the pups. We want them to be used to that, not have them get
Yep.
stomach problems. And then we just have always, ever since we've camped, just bring our own water
Yeah.
to use to cook with, to drink.
So we,
yeah.
we do not drink out of the fresh tank. The
Nope.
fresh tank water that we carry is strictly for bathing
Yep.
and washing dishes and
Right.
things like that.
Yep.
So anyway, so what do we do? So what are we going to do about the 18-gallon fresh tank and going 3 days? Well, number one, I carry a 5-gallon bucket with me, and I can let out 4 to 5 gallons at a time, and then I just have to find a place to dispose of it. Which I know, like out in Washington, I think it was, the National Forestry campgrounds, they were no hookup campgrounds, and there was no dump station, but they had these cisterns where you could, they say right on them, gray water, and you could dump there.
Some people are suggesting a Berkey filtration system. Have you ever heard of that?
Yeah, and I know a lot of people really like those. My only issue for us is when you're in an 18, we just don't have the
lot of
space to
space,
carry it.
yeah.
And
That's
so
true.
for us, it's easier just to go buy, 89-cent gallon jug water
Mm-hmm.
and take that. So yeah, if I had a bigger trailer, then I think the Berkey would be great,
Mm-hmm.
where you could filter your water, that type of thing. It's just in our camper, and those Berkeys are fairly good size. I know they come in different sizes, but it would take up just even counter space to
Right.
have it out. So
'Cause in our fifth wheel, we had a filter for the water, didn't we, from your Uncle Mark?
yeah, we actually had a water filtration system on our fifth wheel,
Wheel, mm-hmm.
and back then we did drink the water, but.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we bought a Soda Stream. I don't know how many of you guys have use a Soda Stream.
Yeah, we love it.
We thought they were. We were like, why would
They're
anybody
hokey
buy one?
at first, but then
Yeah. Then my aunt and
saw
uncle
it
in
in
Texas
use,
had
yeah.
it and started, and so now we love that thing.
hooked.
We bought one as soon as we got home, and we don't make a lot of quote soda
No.
as far as like Coke, Diet
Yeah,
Coke.
we don't drink a lot of
We
that.
just like it's like the bubbly. It's
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
the bubbled water with a little flavor to
Yeah,
it.
we sure do.
I'm figuring out, I don't know where I'm going to put it, but we are definitely.
It's going.
Hey, thanks, Donna. Thanks for stopping by. We're definitely going to find a place to put that
Yep.
in the tab. So
Definitely.
here's something else we're going to do. And I'm reluctant to say some of these things for fear that if you've never boondocked and I'm starting to convince you you can do it, then when I start throwing out some of these extreme things, that you'll be like, I'm back out again. So again,
Don't scare
do
them.
it for one night, but I'm talking like when we go to Alaska,
Mm-hmm.
we're anticipating we're going to have to go several days without being able to dump or find dump stations.
Right.
Here in the continental, like when we go out west, there is so many places to
Right.
dump.
Exactly.
Love's truck stops, Flying J truck stops. A lot of the gas stations out west have
and
dump
there was
areas.
some rest areas that
Some
had
of the
them.
rest areas had. But I think once we start heading north through Canada and on the Alaskan highway, that's going to be a problem. So one of the things we're going to do is our trailer has an outdoor shower with both hot and cold. We're buying one of those pop-up shower tents, and I bought a floor mat for it as well. And we'll probably do some outdoor showering.
Yeah. We did that when we tent camped in Cape Cod.
Cape Cod, yeah, they
Yeah.
actually had outdoor showers there. So,
Yeah.
but
He had a divider. I mean,
right,
in something.
right.
Not just exposed.
I told Russ and Carrie today that
You'd scare
that
the
I was
bears?
buying this because
Or
I
you
didn't.
entice the
Well, I didn't
bears?
want to freak them out if they think we're going to be showering outside with them.
Oh, boy.
Plus, I told them it would attract bears if I dropped my robe all that fat. So, dum.
Dun-dun.
Is Jason still in here? I need a dum.
Dun-dun.
So, Carolyn says, "What about mosquitoes?" Well, I mean, it depends on where you're at.
Yeah,
It could
we
be.
got lucky in Cape Cod. There
Yeah,
weren't
yeah.
mosquitoes. In the area they had it, you could see the stars, and that was kind of cool. So.
We actually went 11 consecutive
Yeah.
days last summer without any hookups. And so it wasn't all in one location. Oh, hey, Truman,
He's got his
it's time to wind down. Truman's got his wine bottle going nuts.
Here.
It was a combination of harvest host and some forestry land and that type of thing. So yes, we did have to dump the tank. So my basic rule when we're traveling is if I see a place to dump,
We
especially a
just do
free
it.
one, you
Yeah.
just dump, even if it's only been one night.
Just to make sure it's
Yeah.
cleaned out. We just do it whenever we see it.
Right.
That's kind of what's
It's one of the
rule.
reasons I love going out west into the Pacific Northwest is we never have to run the AC out there in the summer.
No, I love
And,
it. Well, we always go to the mountains.
So then the other option you have is, everybody assumes if you're going to boondock, you have to have solar or you have to have a generator. And I don't think you do. Because again, if it's just an overnight occasionally, then you really don't need that. But, a generator is one option if you're concerned about AC. So we
Right.
do carry a generator. For some reason, that video blew up, that Harbor Freight.
Yeah.
And, a lot of people, it was kind of controversial, I guess, because a
I
lot of people think
guess.
it's ridiculous that you're camping and running a generator.
But we don't run it all the time.
We very rarely run
when
ours.
When you ran it, it was basically like an hour in the morning. And that's
Back then, that was before we had good solar
Right.
on our Hummingbird,
Right.
and I was running it to charge the battery. We
Right.
weren't even running
And
it
then
to.
we didn't even run it. You just ran it last year to show off, didn't you? How quiet it was to some
A few
people.
times, yeah, I would demonstrate. I let Kevin and Karen
Yeah,
borrow
use
it
it, right.
at Leavenworth to
They
charge
needed
their battery.
They needed a boost.
So, okay, yeah, and if you have solar, you probably
Yeah.
don't need it. Honestly, I don't even know why we're carrying a generator with our solar setup now, other than it's that peace of mind
That's
if we
why I
had
think-
to turn the air on. And Russ said they very rarely ran theirs with their little guy, which,
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah. So what questions does anybody have? We'll try to keep up, and because I'm tired of talking, at least straight. It's like I do
And
this with
it's-
my students. I'll lecture for a while, and I'll be like, okay, it's
and
time for you to
It's difficult
talk.
tonight because I don't have the computer
Yeah.
to see the comments coming up to go back and grab some of those
And there'll be a
comments.
little, if I remember right, there's a little delay. You have a cold day. We hit -6 last night.
Ooh.
That's worse
That's
than
worse than
us.
us.
We're getting down to 6 tonight, but
Yeah.
that's on the plus side. When was the first time you boondocked? That was about 4 years ago, and it was again. We stayed at a Walmart the first time.
Yeah.
And use common sense. We have pulled. I remember one time. I don't remember where it was. Where we pulled in, and we were like, "No way."
It just didn't feel
It
right.
didn't feel right, and so we left and found another
Yep.
place. Is Walmart a member of Harvest House? No,
No.
Walmart. And here's the thing: not all Walmarts will
No.
allow overnight parking. We use the Allstays app. That's usually because a lot of times it'll say right in there under the reviews.
Right.
People will be like, "No." Always call.
I always call. He's driving, and I get the number, and I just call to verify. Even if it says yes, I just call to make sure it's okay. Because sometimes those things aren't updated regularly.
Yep.
Things change daily. We just don't want that knock in the middle of the night that we need to evacuate and leave, and
Right.
that wouldn't be fun.
So yeah, we always call Cracker Barrels, Walmarts, Cabela's,
Always ask.
wherever.
Yep.
We call and we get permission for those. So and those are free.
Yep.
And then there was another comment, and I think I missed. I saw solo female traveler, and I think it had to do with security.
Yep. Have you ever left your rig while boondocking?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I'm assuming you mean like we're on, let's say, national forestry land, government land, unhitched. Yes. And so we keep a lock. Now, everybody out west last summer made fun of my lock.
Yeah, they said it wasn't.
Everybody
Good
out
enough,
west,
big enough.
they have these massive, like, tank type locks.
On the tongue.
And come to find out, like,
And
we
they had-
needed one.
And they have tire locks.
They have
on each
tire locks.
And we just had this tiny little thing.
Yeah.
And I think we need something bigger.
We'll probably upgrade our lock system before heading out again this summer. Currently, we have a small ball
Yep.
lock and then a pin lock. But, yeah, we do leave it. So,
Yeah. Do you ask for the manager at Walmart when you call?
No.
No, I don't. There's the number I call, I just ask, and then they usually, if they could put me on hold and say, well, I got to check, or they know to answer.
Or
I don't
they'll
know-
transfer,
Or they'll
maybe.
transfer me to somebody. But I don't ask for the manager per se. I just ask my question if we're able to camp overnight. And then they get me
Proven
the answer.
Industries. Yes, thanks, Russ. Or Carrie. I always feel bad because if it is Carrie type, and it's not fair to give Russ credit.
Okay.
Proven Industries lock. That's the one. And in
Yes.
fact, Russ and Carrie let me try theirs last summer, and it fit fine on the tab. So we need to get one.
Yes.
Back to there was a question about being a solo female traveler and being safe, and I didn't catch all of it. I apologize because they fly through here so quick. Again, I don't know. I don't think I'm the one to give the advice on that. Here's what I know is we have some friends who are solo
Yep.
female travelers, and they do a lot of boondocking. In fact, Teresa probably does some stuff you and I won't even do.
Yeah, I would think
You know,
so.
like she does the Boondockers Welcome, where she goes and
Yes.
stays at people's houses.
Yes, she does.
But again, I think use your instinct. Don't put yourself in a situation that doesn't feel right.
Right.
And, you know, again, I'm not the right person to. Maybe someday we can get either Teresa
Right, or Amanda.
or Amanda to come on a live stream and
Right.
talk about how they stay safe when
Right.
they're traveling.
What they do, yeah.
They're talking about paper maps.
We
I
have-
love paper maps.
You love.
I grew up on paper maps, as most of you did.
Yeah, because a lot of you don't know that when we first traveled after we got married, he had, we called it the clipboard of fun. And because he had maps and he had itineraries,
Itineraries.
everything all laid out.
So when I was a kid, I did all the trip planning. I mean, like when mom and dad would say, okay, we're going to go to Florida for spring break, I would spend months planning it out, picking out the hotels, mapping out the
Yes.
routes. And I mean, literally, because a lot of people don't, you know, a lot of these young kids that I teach today, they don't even know paper maps exist.
Do you recommend boondocking at a truck stop? We've never boondocked at a truck stop.
We have not, but we know people
They
who say
have,
they
yeah.
prefer staying at like a Flying J or a Love's. Our friend David
Yes.
up in New England, he says he's pulled in before at like a Love's, and he just goes in and asks because he'll say if he's really tired at night, and they have, you know, the RVs.
Right.
So I think the downside would be it's probably a little noisier.
I would think it might be if you have the semis running all night. That's why we kind of like Cracker Barrel
Better than
Walmart because of the semis and the traffic, and it's quieter at a Cracker Barrel.
Yeah.
So
Although Cracker Barrels are not 100% quiet.
No.
The first, 2 or 3 we stayed at were noisy.
Well, because they had their delivery,
One, they had
Early
deliveries
in the
at like
morning.
6 o'clock in the morning.
and then the other time they came to get the
Dumpsters. And they had
kept-
3 dumpsters, and they would,
Smash
lift
it,
them
bang
up
'em.
and bang them and then drop them down.
Well,
So-
and then the lift for getting their delivery, it must have hit the ground all the time and made that bang. And that was like so early in the morning, but yeah.
And then, like, for instance, here's a little or a little tip, may or may not be useful to you. When I pull in like a Cracker Barrel or a Walmart, because we're small enough, we can park in 2 spaces
Right.
front, I always try to park so the trailer door steps out into like a grass island. One, that means there's no trailer beside of
Be on
you.
that side.
And then that way, if we have to take Truman and
Puffs
Bess
out,
out, you step out and your grass is right
Right.
there. So.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think we're still talking about maps. You remember? Did anybody else do this? You get string, and you use string to map it to figure out how many miles it was.
How old are you?
And no, when I was a kid, and the old maps used to have like arrows, black arrows and red arrows, and give you, and you had to know how to read that.
did.
And,
I know.
And, nobody, these
No one-
kids,
the
they
kids
don't-
these days,
these kids.
golly.
See, I can do that because I'm talking about retirement. I don't know if anybody caught Thursday's episode, but 4 years. I've already been to HR and talked to them about it. So yeah, and no, I'm not that old. Where I work, we have what it's called the rule of 75. If your years of service and your age equal 75, then you're eligible for retirement.
Yeah.
But you do, and I've actually hit the rule of 75. That's how long I've worked there. That was called the
was
scale metric. Thanks, Jeff. Hey, Jeff, don't forget to go over and pick on Russ tonight. He's warming up on me. But you do have to be 55. So I'll be 52 this September. So we've got 4 years. And really all that means is I'm still going to have to work some kind of job. But it means I can leave and I get to keep my health care at my current cost or whatever the employee rate is. So
Right. He says you know it. He's working on you.
off to the movies. Hey, Mark and Karen, they're going to the movies
Hi.
tonight. So have fun, guys.
Yes.
And I would like to, well, I'll just stop there.
Shoot.
I did post a little more information on the 2 campouts that are coming up over on our webpage. So if you're interested in either coming to West Yellowstone in July or Vermont in October, I did update that page today. So
Yeah.
we have a campground, I think, in Vermont.
I think so. You said
The
you were
problem
working on
is
it.
every time I call, it's winter in Vermont, and I've yet to get to actually talk to them. But we have exchanged emails. They have the space. They have a pavilion that I'm renting because October in Vermont, who knows what the weather will be.
Well, and then you got some really neat ideas from
Yeah.
Baird Farm. You called
Yep.
them.
So I talked to Jacob
Jenna-
and Jenna Baird yesterday.
got us some new ideas of things we want to do. So
Yeah.
that's really cool.
So we're going to go to anybody who wants to join
Mm-hmm.
us on Sunday afternoon. Sunday morning, we'll have the pancake and sausage
Yeah.
breakfast. And then we're all going to, anybody that wants to go can head over to the Baird Farm. And Jen and Jacob are going to be giving the tour of their farm and how they make maple syrup.
Oh, it's
and
so
then
fun.
on Saturday, she's given us several things we could do in the area. We don't even have to drive. Originally, I was
No.
going to drive clear up to Waterbury.
I think
but
I like these ideas.
yeah, there's a brewery we can go to. There's a winery. There's an alpaca farm if
That
anybody
would
wants
be
to go.
cool.
And Jacob said it's actually very cool.
I'm doing
There's
that
some
one.
cheese makers
Yep.
in the area. So yeah, Vermont's going to be fun. Idaho, West Yellowstone's going to be fun
Yeah,
too. So.
yeah.
All right, we've got about 5
Yep.
minutes left before we're going to head over. So I don't know if tonight's chat was helpful. I wished our internet was
Our
working
internet
better
was
so
giving
Patty could have
fits
read.
today. Yeah, it would have been better, I think.
I'm going to be going west when the time comes. I'll be going. I might have missed part of that conversation. So
Yeah, it's good. They're going to be fun. I'm looking forward to it.
So we'll see if there's any
Yep.
last minute questions. And I know there's a delay from when we get the
Yep.
questions, so we'll give it a second. But yeah, I would just say if you're concerned, and here's another option, if you're concerned about boondocking, go with somebody
Yeah, go
who's
with a
done
buddy.
it. Go with a
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
buddy.
That way they can kind of help you out if you have troubles or
Yeah,
concerns
absolutely.
or whatever.
I mean, we actually have talked about, in fact, if anybody's interested this summer that's coming to West Yellowstone, if you've never boondocked and you'd like to go boondocking, come a day or two early. Patty and I and Russ and Carrie are going to be on some government land.
Yeah.
Or
We'll show you
we
how
could
it
even
goes.
probably stay around an extra night. So, hey, Bill.
Hi, Bill.
How's your weather out in Utah? Oh, thanks, Rhonda. Rhonda says it was helpful. Good. And please always reach out. I know in